Significant figures, if you recall from high school, is a way of showing how much precision your measurement actually has. So we mentioned in the last video how the decimal system allows you to show how much precision you have, sometimes even leaving some extra zeros on there to show how far out you actually know your answer. So significant figures is simply that. It is a way of showing how much precision you actually know in your measurement. So an example I like to use is if, say, I were attempting to find the diameter of this pen, and I use the ruler that's etched onto my multi-tool. This is a very imprecise instrument compared to, say, calipers or micrometers. So if I go and I put it on here and I measure, I get something in the range of 19.5 millimeters. Really only be confident about that 0.5. Anything more precise would be, in effect, wrong, dishonest, if you will. It's not something I have any information on. I really have no way of knowing whether it was actually 19.49 or 19.51. In fact, I'm probably being a little overgenerous saying that I know it to that point. All right. On the other hand, if I were to use a good set of micrometers, I could actually know things well farther out. In fact, if this were the measurement that I got with micrometers, I could very justifiably report this as 19.500, which is indicating that I know it out to this far. Now let's compare and contrast. What I had a moment ago without those zeros is said to have 3 significant figures, and this has 5. Normally, zeros that only tell you where the decimal place is are not considered significant. Any other zeros to the right of the number are usually there specifically to show you to indicate further significant figures. So in chemistry, you might talk about 14.70 milliliters, right? For instance, and that's showing that you know out to 100th of a milliliter. So in our consideration of significant figures, it's important to be able to identify how many digits in a number are actually significant figures. The numbers that are actually giving us information about the precision of our measurement, what have you. The other alternative is sometimes digits are simply telling you the size of the number, the order of magnitude, the placing of the decimal point, if you will, with respect to our significant figures. So for example, a 42.339, this would be a common measurement on a print, for instance. This has 5 significant figures. All 5 of the digits are significant. All of them, none of them are there strictly to tell you where the decimal point is or what have you. The same would go for this one here. 3 significant figures, all the digits are significant. Once again, the same would go for these ones here as well. We'll contrast this one with things like this in a moment. All right. Now here we come to our first one where there's no indication here that we've actually measured down in the hundreds, tens, or ones place on this measurement. So this would seem like, so as written, this indicates 2 significant figures, only the 7 and the 3. And these ones here are effectively simply telling us decimal points out here, and not say, here or here. All right. That has 2 significant figures as written. Similar logic is used for something like this, a very small number. If those decimals are those zeros are only there to show us the decimal places out here, and that we're dealing in the 10,000ths place, that's the extent of the information it's supplying for us. Next, so following that same logic, of course, we would say this zero here is not significant, but whenever we want to show further significant figures, we can add zeros to the end. And so the zero on the end here is deliberately left on. It doesn't actually add any mathematical significance, but in the real life determination of our precision of our measurements, that is a way of reporting that we actually know out to that place. All right, we're confident that it's not actually 0.044 or 0.046. It's 5, and then we're pretty confident. We're confident even on the next digit as well. All right, that sort of notation will often take this form as well, where we'll see the extra zeros. There's a decimal and extra zeros added on. This is to show us that we're looking at 4 significant figures here, and similarly 4 significant figures here.